morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever it is you're tuning in. Welcome to Ticket Price, the only show that asks the questions that matter. Are these movies worth the ticket price? In other words, are they worth your time and money? Thank you for joining us. With you as always, I am Jake, co-host and voice of the show. With me as always, sitting across the way, co-host extraordinaire and the only man that the Force refuses to be with, Tevis at Master Control. Tevis, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. You sound a lot better.
I feel better.
You look better.
There's still a little... That's untrue, but...
Your face isn't glistening with droplets of snot.
I worked hard for that glisten. You know, people pay a lot of money to glisten.
Yeah, you kind of blinded me a few times when you turn your head just right. The lights in there
Oh my God.
would sparkle.
It would just...
You look like Edward from fucking Twilight.
My translucent skin would reflect the light. You could not only see my you could see my muscle tissue.
It was very disturbing. It was very disturbing.
I get that a lot. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
To finish our October horror movie marathon.
Yes, I am ready.
Before we get started.
Okay, I'm not ready now.
I have yet to be scared. We're 3 down.
Okay.
This is the last one. Not only have none of them been worth the ticket price.
Well, in all fairness, I know the first one definitely was not going to scare you. And even that, I don't even think, I think I knew Under Paris was going to be underwhelming.
It's a shark movie. Oh, wait. I see what you did there.
Honestly, I didn't even.
I see what you did there, you crafty bastard.
Yes. I write my own
Paris,
shit.
More like underwhelming. Oh.
I don't know.
Where's the cymbal crash?
I was waiting for later.
Oh, you
did? Because it was kind of underwhelming joke.
There was a pause there.
Yeah.
So, we will finish October looking at the 2010 remake.
Yes.
Of the Crazies. Originally released.
Origi
release.
Okay. Is that like a really cheap streaming service? Like Tubi?
Probably.
Okay.
Coming soon.
Okay.
Originally released in 1973 by George A. Romero. I'm going to pause right here. This was not welcoming news for me. I don't care for Romero. I think his movies are bad. I appreciate him being the grandfather of zombies and the zombie genre and all of that, but like, come on. I love D&D. You try to play Gary Gygax's original version, that shit's unplayable and you can't even make sense of it.
I don't know what any of that means.
Nerd.
No, not
yeah, whatever, nerd. You don't understand Gary Gygax's original version of... Why don't you try touching a vagina for once, nerd?
Oh, shit. Have you ever seen the original Crazies?
No, I had never heard of it.
Yeah, me either. I never knew it was a thing.
I mean, I ended up looking into it when I was like, oh, this is a remake. You know, so I looked into it a little bit. And it looks like a low-budget student film.
Kind of, yeah.
From 73. So, question. Why could George A. Romero never get funding for his movies?
Good question. I don't know.
The vast majority of them just look like.
Maybe that's the secret too. Like we talk about it all the time. Horror movies, you make one for 2 nickels and you end up making $100 million. So
yeah, that's true. Man, I had an idea for the ticket price horror movie.
Okay,
and I feel like it was shark related.
I'm out.
But I finished my pee and went back to sleep, and I didn't write it down. And now I've lost it.
Oh, my God.
So now I have to come up with a new one.
Okay. Was you awake when you were peeing?
Well, I woke up, had to pee.
You got up.
So I got up to pee.
Okay, just making sure.
And, I was in that, like, fugue state of, like, I'm still half asleep. I might have a dream still playing subconsciously. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I remembered there was our first ever ticket price movie idea. But I didn't write it down. I went back to bed. And I've been struggling to remember what it was ever since.
Damn it.
But you just said, I know it had a shark involved, but you just said you're out. So now we got to come up with something else.
Okay.
So getting back to the topic at hand for once. The Crazies, written by Scott Kozer and Ray Wright and George A. Romero. Now, this is where we would draw the red flag attention to 3 writers. However, in this case, that would be inaccurate.
Yes.
This movie has 2 writers, Scott and Ray. But because it's a remake, they also then give the writing credit to George A. Romero for the original. So honestly, this is an adaptation with 2 writers.
Suggested by George A. Romero.
It's not iRobot. It's not iCrazies. So I don't know. I feel like it would be unfair and inaccurate to go ahead and stamp it with the 3 writer red flag.
I agree.
Because there wasn't really 3 writers.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an adaptation.
Yes.
So you give the original credit.
Yes. Directed by Breck Eisner. And I went, Breck? Breck. 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 Do you think as a child he would ever go to the store and try to find like a personalized license plate for his bicycle? And was like, they never have Breck.
I feel your pain,
They
brother.
never have Tevis.
I feel your pain.
Not my pain.
No.
My name is Jacob.
Yeah, you had everything personalized.
My underwear, I got it all.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this guy before.
Me neither.
And I looked into what he's made before. He directed Sahara with Matthew McConaughey.
I've heard of that. I think I've seen pieces, but I've never sat and watched the whole thing.
Turd sandwich.
Because of Matthew McConaughey?
No, I love Matthew McConaughey. And
He's
then
fine.
The Last Witch Hunter with
Witch Hunter.
Oh, who's that Jack fucking idiot from Fast and Furious? Vin Diesel.
The Jack. How did we go from Jack something to Vin Diesel?
Jackass. I was going to say Jackass, but then I changed it to idiot. I don't know why. But yeah.
His name was Dom in the Fast and the Furious.
But he was a jackass.
Okay. Have you seen that meme going around again? I think it's an older one that may have resurfaced or it could be new. It's like, we've been able, with the use of new modern computer and AI technologies, recreate what we believe early, like, Paleolithic man looked like. And it looks exactly like Vin Diesel.
I saw that.
That is the funniest shit to me. This caveman looking SOB. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does. What were you talking about? How did we get to Vin Diesel?
Because he was this Breck Eisner directed The Last Witch Hunter with Vin Diesel in it.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and I guess Vin Diesel's like a big D&D guy.
Sure.
So
he has a D&D channel, like a Twitch channel or something, or YouTube or something, doesn't he?
Oh, I have no idea.
Doesn't he? It's like D and Diesel.
Ugh.
Something to that effect.
But apparently this is his character that he plays as.
Gross. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. This asshole had a movie written and made about his D&D character.
Yeah.
I hope his DM murders him. So he has to make a new one. What a douche.
That does seem kind of douchey, doesn't it?
God.
I'm not a D&D guy, so I don't know all the ins and outs of all of that shit, but it just seems a little
douchey. Now I know what The Rock would do if he ever got into D&D.
Yeah.
Gross. Let's just move on from whatever that is.
His YouTube channel is Douchey and Diesel.
Douches and Dragons. Wait, hold on. YouTube idea.
Yeah, there we go.
Now I can play with my friend. I can play D&D on YouTube with my friends. We're going to call it Douches and Dragons. Tevis, you want to learn D&D? It's not hard. We do use the Pathfinder rules because Pathfinder is, how do I put it? It's not better than 5th edition, Dungeons and Dragons, it depends on what you like. If you're looking for really watered down rules that allow you to play easier, you want Dungeons and Dragons. If you really like making your character and really like honing in and like this is exactly how I picture them and what they look like and what how they fight and what they do, and you really like that in-depth aspect, you want Pathfinder. If Wizards of the Coast strikes you as money grubbing bastards and you don't support their predatory practices on their consumers or how poorly they treat their employees and you don't wish to give money to them, I also recommend Pathfinder because you can have access to every ounce of content Pathfinder has ever released for free. Totally free.
Okay. I like Pathfinder.
Yeah, Pathfinder.
Let's do Pathfinder.
Up yours, Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, got you.
Not wizard players, but spellcasters. Gross. Play monks. Everyone knows monk is the best class. What am I talking about? The Crazies.
The Crazies.
No, stop talking about Vin Diesel. Every time you just and the whole thing train wrecks. All right, The Crazies 2010, starring Timothy Oliphant and Rada Mitchell.
Rada? Rada.
Rada?
Rada. Let's do Rada. I don't know.
Red Ha.
Nailed it.
Rada.
First time.
Rada. I like Timothy Oliphant.
I do
always
too.
have. I like him in everything he's been in. I would like to officially submit him on our list of underrated actors.
Absolutely.
I don't think I don't even know how old he is these days, but I don't think he ever got the shot he deserved.
Yeah, Justified, I think, was probably the closest
TV show?
TV show. Yeah.
Although that show ran. I mean, was that not a bigger show?
I think it ran for a while, honestly.
Yeah.
I know I have 1 or 2 seasons of it.
Okay,
I know
I never watched it. I didn't know
It's
who.
good.
I don't know who's in it.
It's really good.
Okay. But still, I don't know. I feel like Tim never got his run.
Yeah, he should be in more shit.
Yeah. You know what he should be in? An episode of Ticket Price Podcast.
Hell yes.
So, Mr. Oliphant, if you want to just come in and we'll talk about your favorite movies. All right. Budget. The Crazies, made with an estimated $20 million.
Okay.
Now, worldwide gross. We've been saying it forever.
It didn't do it, did it?
If you make a horror movie, you can make it for nickels on the dollar, and it'll gross $100 million. With a worldwide gross of $54.8 million. And I blame George A. Romero.
Crap. That's crap.
They made a remake of what is considered one of, if not the least seen or ever heard of Romero movies.
Yeah.
And it's a remake of a Romero movie. His movies are meh. So I blame Romero for that. This movie should have at least gotten $45.2 million more in the gross. And it would have if it hadn't been a Romero production. 11 award nominations, People's Choice, all kinds of just all across
Really?
the board. Yeah,
Okay.
whole bunch of different stuff. So 11 is your toaster? Is your toaster
the tub.
going? Okay,
Yeah, it's in my tub.
I'm gonna dive in.
It's waiting for me to finish up with this podcast.
Do you smell something? I smell like wood burning.
Yes. Your side of your face is drooping.
The rest of this, you know what? I'll wait till after.
Okay.
What is your history? I actually remembered it this time. What is your history with the Crazies?
I remember when I first watched the trailer for this. And I'd never heard of anything like, the George A. Romero original. I didn't know anything about it. The trailer really hooked me. Plus, it had Timothy Olyphant in it. I was like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'll check that out. I wasn't able to see it in the theater, but as soon as I was able to rent it, I did. And man, I like this when I first watched it. It it was different. It wasn't like the standard zombie fare.
Mhm.
And about this time was when they had a whole shit ton of the horror remakes.
Oh yeah, this
You know,
2010 because
yeah,
Rob Zombie was big. Well, was he not? Was he not?
yeah. His was 20. Oh no, 2007.
Close enough.
Yeah,
That yeah, because we're getting the Halloween remakes. We're getting the Friday the 13th or
yeah.
Nightmare on Friday. Was there Friday the
Yeah, it was a
13th?
Friday the 13th.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
There was even like this, and they hit the big name ones pretty early, and
Yeah.
then they started getting like The Hitcher and 13
Oh
Ghosts,
yeah.
and
Although wasn't there like almost a marathon run of Romero remakes?
yeah, because they
Remember
did.
they just kept cranking out of the Living Dead,
Yeah, they,
and then was that not the same
that was about the same time. Yeah,
about
because
the same
Dawn
time?
of the Dead,
Yeah.
Zack Snyder did that,
Gross.
which
Gross.
actually was
Double gross.
really good.
Wait, wait, hold on. Was that the mall one?
Yes,
No, that's not really
yeah,
good.
the Dawn of the Dead one was
No,
remake
it
was good.
isn't. I mean, Ving Rhames is in it. And I
Yeah,
love Ving, but that movie sucks,
um,
as does Zack Snyder, who
where
I visually in my head picture Eli Roth, and I don't know why.
yeah, I don't know why either. That doesn't
It's like how I remember Rocky in black and white. I don't know. This is just how my neurodivergent mind works.
okay. So, what's your history with this film?
I have zero history with this film.
Okay.
Never heard of the Romero classic. I want to say that maybe I had heard of this, the remake in 2010, slash, I had heard or seen the cover or the posters, just in passing. I almost feel like I would have had to. But if I did, I have no recollection of any of that.
Okay.
Even when you were like, hey, we're doing the Crazies, my mind went to one of the Rob Zombie House of a Thousand
Oh,
Corpses
yeah. I remember you saying something to me about that.
sequels, like because in my mind you said the Crazies, and I was thinking of like Devil's Rejects or something to that effect. I got nothing, so I was like, okay, and it's like, oh, Timothy Olyphant. Oh, I like that. Okay, cool. Oh, it's a Romero remake. Oh God, I keep seeing the word zombie being bandied about. God. All right. I will admit, because it was a Romero remake, I had to really force myself to actually to sit down and watch it. I was like, all right, I'm out of time because I watched it last
So
night.
this was work for you.
Yes, I was working when
Okay.
there's somewhere it's like, oh, we're gonna watch Jaws. We're gonna watch Godzilla -1 again. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah. Man, -1 might be coming back to theater, and I might go see it again. Neither here nor there. I watched this, as of this recording, I watched this last night in preparation for
Okay.
for today's recording because I
Nice.
kept putting it off. But is there anything?
You brought it up just a little bit in your history, but I just want to touch on the poster of this
Yes.
and the DVD case, the Blu-ray case.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That cover is cool
It is.
with the pitchfork on the ground and the trail of blood dripping off of it, and on
Oh yeah, it
it's
looks good.
it's a cool looking poster.
But it's kind of, what's the tagline? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Fear thy neighbor.
Oh yes, that's right.
Before I knew, you handed me the Blu-ray case to borrow. So my first exposure was the case, the cover, and the picture of the bloody pitchfork being drug across the ground and the trail it's leaving, and it says "Fear thy neighbor." And I'm going, is this going to be one of those like
Purge.
No, I'm thinking
Oh,
more like Hills Have Eyes, or
oh, I see.
it's like the crazy hillbillies. What's the one? It's not Hills Have Eyes, but it's one where it's like three super inbred, monstrous, like
Oh, like
hillbilly.
Wrong Turn?
Wrong Turn.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm seeing the pitchfork, the blood, the fear thy neighbor. You know, you read the back and it's like in rural Iowa. And I'm going, oh, God, this is going to be some, serial killery redneck family sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's almost misleading.
Yeah, I could see how somebody could be.
So now, but then I'm like, wait. So now, just from the picture, that was the vibe I got. And now I'm going, wait, it's a Romero remake with zombies and the pitchfork? But then I remember Romero zombies being their own subcategory of zombie. You know what? We ought to do an extra episode of just us breaking down all the cinema zombies.
From best to worst.
And just like, almost more like an SCP Foundation like file.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like, Professor Jacob recording in. The higher ups have asked us to break down the zombie profiles, and we'll just break down cinema zombies because Romero zombies are a unique breed unto themselves.
Yes, they are.
Many can talk, but they all, at least in the early stages of the infection or reanimation, maintain the ability to wield weapons.
That is true.
Think of the original Night of the Living Dead, that little girl with the garden trowel and all kinds of stuff.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Was it Barbara's brother dies in a real like limp wiener way when his head slightly brushes, his hair gets slightly mussed by that tombstone. And I still remember watching that as a kid going, he's dead?
Gave him the cowlick. And that was it. Letting these out.
God, that movie sucks.
I was thinking of the remake of that Tom Savini had done.
Yeah.
And they had that terrible looking dummy that hits the tombstone. And
It's been too long.
In my head, I'm picturing it like a dog toy making a squeaky noise when it hits.
Just, I took a harder hit when I slipped in the shower yesterday.
But I had watched the remake of Night of the Living Dead before I had watched the original.
Yeah.
So I had that. That one's always the one that comes to mind.
So you know what? So I would do this though. Hold on. If the audience is interested, if you'd be interested in additional content that would come out on our extra episodes, if you guys want us to break down cinema monsters,
oh yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be.
I would do that. Today, all right, we're doing a marathon on zombies. This episode, Romero zombies. This episode, slow zombies. This episode, fast zombies. Like, we could.
Yeah, hell with everybody else. I want
it. We're gonna do it because you want to do it. Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah. Or and obviously, it would be more than just zombies. But yeah, that would be fun.
It would be.
All right, moving on.
Write that down.
Takes notes. All right. 2010, the Crazies opened with the town's on fire.
Yeah, a little fiery intro. Never hurt nobody.
I'm gonna be real. I was being very sarcastic as this movie opened, and Anna and I were watching because this was work. I didn't really want to watch it. And I'm just like, my God, that building's on fire. And Anna's giggling, and I'm like, oh, that car's on fire. The whole town is on fire. Because it pans, and you see like a house on fire. So it's just like, that house is on fire. And then it pans over, and then there's like a car. It's like, my God, that car is on fire. And then it pans back, and the whole main street is on fire.
And then Matt Damon comes around the corner.
And that's the voice I was, am I on goddamn fire? Timothy Oliphant walking, am I on goddamn fire? So this town is burning down. It's carnage everywhere. And then we get the little clip at the bottom 2 days earlier, presumably before everything was on fire.
Before everything went to shit.
Although I would have been more impressed if it was 2 days earlier and everything was still on fire. Would have been more impressive. They are at a small town, like high school baseball game.
I really like this intro with just the sheriff sitting at the counter, waiting at the counter for his coffee, and
Oh, sheriff doesn't pay, and it gives the perfect small town vibe
it
because it's
does.
like, oh no, sheriff doesn't pay for. Oh well, thank you, Brent, or whatever that guy's
Yeah,
name. It's a small town. They're all friends. They all know each
yeah.
other.
And I just love the line that he says. I don't care what the calendar says. Opening day is the first day of spring, or however it's
Oh
worded.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why it just brings me into that character even more.
and yes, and it seems like and it's for a high school baseball game. The bleachers are full. The stands are full. Everyone's cheering. They're having a good time.
Yeah, I mean it's small town life.
You cannot get more quintessential small town Americana than a sheriff talking to his buddies, scores a free coffee, talking about how great opening day for the high school baseball team is, and the stands are packed as people are just cheering on the local game. Like
Yeah, I
that's
grew up in a small town, so it
that's some
was like
Norman Rockwell level shit right there.
the town would basically shut down for the football game,
Oh,
or
really?
yeah, it was a big deal. So yeah, I really like this a lot.
Um, Sheriff, what's his name? David?
David
David.
Dutton,
David Dutton. Dutton.
Yellowstone.
Thank you. I was going to say, there's something recent using the name Dutton.
Yeah, and I've never seen a single episode of it.
No, I did see Anna and I watched, was it 1889?
There's so many of those spin-offs. I don't know what's
The
what.
the prequel, I think 1889, it's got Sam Elliott.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was
I
really
did
good.
watch
Other than the
part of
main
that.
other than the main character, the teenage girl who's just written like garbage, her main character trait is angst,
Oh,
and that's really irritating.
yeah. Okay.
Other than her, it's great.
Yeah, I haven't
But
watched very much of it.
David Dutton, Sheriff Dutton, they're watching the game when all of a sudden some old farmer just kind of is storming onto the field from the outfield with something in his hand. At first, I couldn't tell what it was, and he starts, and you can see he's in the distance coming into the field, and you're like, "What in the world is going on?"
Yeah, the deputy points it out.
Well, that's the thing. Russ, the deputy, points it out to sheriff, but you can see the people in the stands. At first, no one really notices, and then he's getting closer, and more people are noticing. But you can act. This is really well done, in my opinion. Counting the sheriff and the deputy, but just the crowd, everyone around as a whole. No one notices at first. He's a blip in the outfield coming on. Now people are seeing him. They're going, what in the world? What? Who is that? What are they doing? And then he gets even closer, and you see he's holding a shotgun. Now people are getting panicky, and that's when Deputy Russ points it out, and David approaches, he gets everyone in the dugout, gets them off the field, and approaches the gunman,
Yeah, was his name Rory?
Rory.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Rory, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, I said, "Gonna have a game here going
What?
on. What are you doing, Rory?"
Yeah. He's like, we're having a game going on, Rory. What are you doing? What's this about? And Rory doesn't respond. He's got this, it's simultaneously focused and unfocused at the same time. Like his face is really tense, like he's moving with purpose and intent, but his eyes are vacant.
Oh yeah, there's
There's no one home
nobody home.
except his body is moving with purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
he's physically traveling with intent. He has a plan, air quote plan, but his eyes, there's no one home. And the sheriff was like, just put the gun down, man. Like, let's go talk. Like, let's go talk. Like, come, Rory, come on. Like, because it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody.
Knows
He's
everybody.
just he's one of the farmers. There's something weird going on. But Rory doesn't respond. And David's talking and trying to talk and trying to talk. And then Rory raises a shotgun. And Sheriff Dave has to take action and ends up putting Rory down.
Yeah, this sheriff is very calm under pressure. And Timothy Oliphant, I think, does a great job. not only in everything he's done, but at this moment in this scene.
He does a really good job at portraying this kind of character.
Yes.
Like calm, in control, just not laid back in like a derogatory, but just he's a small town sheriff. He knows everybody. Nothing ever happens in a sleepy town. Everyone's comfortable. And he's just like, what are we doing, man? But he's not stupid or lazy or bad at his job. He
Right.
might join our pantheon of like 2 cops that we've covered that are good at job.
I was thinking the same thing as
Hold on.
I was rewatching
Sheriff
this.
David Dutton, FBI agent, Special Agent Clarice Starling.
Is that it?
Del Spooner.
Axel Foley.
No. If his job was being a con man, Martin Riggs.
Oh,
His job was being an assassin.
No, Rory wouldn't even have made it onto the field if it was Martin Riggs.
Oh. That goes. This would have been a much shorter movie with Martin Riggs, but there would have been less police work done.
Absolutely.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Sheriff Dutton probably would have handled Lethal Weapon as well.
Fair point.
I think he would have handled it, just not as well. So, Sheriff has to kill Rory. It cuts to, we see a woman. She receives a phone call. Right?
You look confused.
I've lost myself a little bit.
Okay. You're talking about the doctor.
The doctor, who we learn is Mrs. Dutton.
Yes.
We don't really know that yet, but it doesn't really matter. And we see like the baby's room that they are setting up, so it's like, oh, they're expecting, but she's the small town doctor. She is asked to examine, again, one of the farmers because
Bill.
Right. Because there is something wrong with Bill. He's not responding.
Yeah, he's
to
not well. Anything.
And there's also something wrong with Ben.
Ben.
There's a
the principal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the aftermath of shooting Rory, we see the sheriff. So, oh God, I'm getting my timelines. The streams are crossing. The existence as I know it is tearing apart, except it's all happening in my brain. We cut to Mrs. Dutton, receives a phone call, goes into the office. So we meet her, we learn she's expecting. Then we see Sheriff back at the ball field with regret. He's back at the scene of what's going on and looks over and sees the high school principal, Ben, sitting in the stands. And at first they're like, oh, hey, Ben. Nothing. Ben. Yeah. Ben. Nothing. And then now Sheriff Dutton's in his face, like snapping, Ben. And he's like, oh, hey, Sheriff. Yeah, don't you worry about those kids. They're resilient. Kids are resilient. And then gone again. That's when we go back to the doctor examining another farmer. The wife and son were worried about him. And it's Bill. Something wrong with Bill because Bill is also not responding to pretty much anything. And then when he does finally respond and gives a canned answer of like, they just worry too much. I just need to get back to work. You know them. They just worry too much. And then there's silence. Yeah, she just worries too much. And he repeats the same canned response. Do you notice that?
Yeah, it's like he's on skip. Like the record is skipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they have one weird response prepared. And that's it. That's all they got.
There's a moment at the funeral parlor with the sheriff and Rory's wife and son.
So Rory goes to the morticians, to the funeral parlor. He's talking with the priest and the mortician. And they're chatting. And then they're like, hey, so-and-so's here. And it's Rory's wife and son. And David goes out to speak with them. And was it the priest or one of them even says like, Dave, now's probably not a good time, man.
Yeah, they try to talk him out of it. They don't do a very good job.
No, but at the same time, I'd rather get this done sooner,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
because they're like, you killed
You don't
him,
want to seem like you're avoiding them.
right? But so they're just like, you killed him. He's like, I'm sorry. He didn't, he came at us
They
with a
kept saying he was
shotgun.
drunk.
And Dutton keeps saying that Rory was drunk because apparently Rory was
Was.
the town drunk, which we learn in this conversation, but that can't be. He's been dry. He's been clean for 2 years.
Yeah, the wife even says, he's been clean for 2 years. You know how proud he was of that.
Yeah. And so what? You
Is that
sleep
what you're
better.
telling
Is
people?
that what you're telling people, that you just killed the town drunk?
Yeah. And man, that kind of hit me hard. I was like, oh shit.
And she slaps him.
Then she slaps him.
And they go on to see the body. And David goes home because, yep, that's a bad day.
That's a bad day.
It cuts at some point. It does cut. Now he goes home. We learn more. We learn that he and the doctor are husband and wife, expecting their child. And we learn their connection now.
Yes.
Now it's later that night. And we're back to Bill's wife and son, Nicholas. And they're inside, looking out at the barn. There's a lot of noise and a lot of light coming from the barn where Bill went. There's nothing in there. There's nothing going on. Bill has not come out. There's just a lot of cacophony from the barn. And that's when the wife tells Nicholas, like, just wait here. I'll go see what your father's up to.
This shot was cool. I like this shot a lot.
There are things I liked and things I didn't like.
Okay.
She goes out to the barn. And it's nighttime. And the camera's behind her. And we see her silhouette being created by all the lights of this huge running combine. And we see those blades just spinning.
Super cool.
And we're just going, Anna and I are just going, oh, no, 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 oh, no, 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 we should not, no. And she's like, Bill, and there's no answer. She walks towards the combine directly in front of the whirling blades, waving her hands above her head, trying to get her husband's attention from the from the cabin.
The cab, yeah.
From the cab. And there's nothing. And I'm going, she about to get run the hell over. Who approaches
I thought she was
who
too.
approaches a moving combine or a running combine with the blades spinning by just walking in front towards the blades? Hey, to our rural listeners, to the farmers out there, is this how we do things? Because if it is, I feel like we shouldn't. I feel like that's how accidents happen.
That's how horror movies start.
Right? And you're waiting for the gun to go off.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting for the bomb to drop because you just know she's about to get run over and ground to pieces. And it's going to be horrible. And then she just walks to the side of the combine and climbs up, and the cab is empty. She's going, what the? And she shuts everything off, and with everything shut off, now she can hear her son screaming from the house. And I just remember going, oh, God. And this is the first real instance, but the movie, in my opinion, successfully does this a number of times. First, right out of the gate, this movie's tense as hell. But it does a really good job subverting expectations.
Yes, it does.
This is the kind of horror movie that enjoys its close-up magic. It makes you watch what the one hand is doing. And then when you know what's going on, when you've got it figured out, you find that the magic trick was in the other hand that you weren't paying attention to. And it does it multiple times, and in my opinion, it does it well.
Yeah, it does it a couple times in this scene alone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh God, he's in the combine.
Yeah.
And then the way they set it up, we get the reveal, and then she's like, Bill. And then in typical horror movie trope fashion, she approaches it. But by it, I mean the blades, like you're just waiting for it. And
Had to set
then
it up. Had to set it up.
they set it up, and it follows all the tropes that you're expecting. It's playing on the audience's knowledge of horror movies. Oh yeah, we know where this is
Yeah.
leading, and then that's not what it is at all. And I think that's what we've talked about before about how sometimes you got to be careful of movies setting up audience anticipation for something and then not delivering.
Oh, I could agree. Yeah, I see. I agree with that.
But I feel this isn't that.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get to see that kill, just a tad bit. But
True.
I don't think it's not that kill would not fit in this movie.
It could have. I mean, realistically, it could have.
I think they would have went over the top with it.
Let's put a pin in this.
Okay.
The wife runs back to the house. Nicholas isn't screaming anymore, and the house is quiet. And this movie does a lot with silence. And it does a lot with silence very well, actually. And she's looking through the house when all of a sudden she does find Nicholas. But he is alive. Honey, are you okay? What? Oh my God. It's Dad. He has a knife. And now we're all just going, oh God. And then you hear Bill come into the house. And so the mom takes Nicholas and they go hide in an upstairs closet. And now from from the wife's perspective from inside the closet, you hear him walking around. She's looking under where it's a closet door, so it doesn't touch the floor. There's that gap.
Yeah.
She's looking through the gap. You see his feet walk by, and you're just going, oh God. And then she's trying to like peer through the keyhole. And you're like, oh no, not the keyhole thing. And then you see his discolored, horrible eye then come to the other side of the keyhole. Jump scare.
That freaked me out.
I went, ah! You got me. And I knew it was coming. Or let me put this, I knew something was.
Yeah.
There's never been a horror movie where a character puts their eye to a keyhole and something horrible not happen. You don't know if they're going to look, or there's going to be a bang on the door, or a knife is going to come through it, or what.
It's a screwdriver.
Yeah. Here comes the ice pick. But she screams, falls back. Now he knows they're in there. And the music's going, and you're just going like, oh shit, here it's on. Then there's just a click, and that's it. And the music dies down, and you just go, what the hell? And you as the audience, or at least me as the audience, had the same bewilderment that the characters had of like, wait, what the hell? And then she tries to open the door, and Bill has locked them in. Then we see Bill dousing the house with a huge can of gasoline. And he just he covers the house, their old wooden farmhouse, and just dousing and makes a nice little trail and goes out into the porch and strikes a match and watches it burn for a minute. And then just tosses it almost haphazardly, lackadaisically, just toss onto the trail, and the whole house goes up. And now it's the wife and son screaming and trying to get out as they're burned alive.
This fucked me up. I mean, I was watching this, and it's been a hot minute since I've seen this. But rewatching it for the show, I was like, man, Bill didn't fuck around. I mean, he could have opened the door and tried to pull him out and stab him and do
which
whatever.
Is what you're expecting.
Which is what I was expecting.
Michael Myers style.
Yeah, but no, he doesn't waste time. He just runs that gasoline down the stairs out into the porch, and flip, just throws it down. What a brutal way to go.
Yeah. So now I'm going to take the pin out of what we were talking about with the setting the expectations. The subversions work because the payoff works. They are setting up a brutal death as the mom gets ripped to pieces by the combine. Swerve, that's not what we got. Oh God, it was a distraction. Now he's getting the son. Oh, the son got away. Now they're hiding. Oh, he found them in the closet. We know he's armed with a knife. Here comes the busting through the door
Yeah.
or stabbing through the keyhole, or, now comes the altercation. Nope, we don't get that either. Subversion, swerve. And we're going, wait, what is happening? Right? These swerves are not done in such a way that they steal whatever, for lack of a better term, enjoyment we, the audience, would be getting from the anticipation it's building up. Go back to Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. When they're asking the Witch King of Angmar, how will you deal with the wizard? I will break him. Oh, now we're setting up a Witch King Gandalf fight. That's going to be cool as hell.
Nope.
And then swerve, that's not what we get. That's a letdown. That's a disappointment. This isn't that. They're setting up a brutal death. Oh, swerve, we didn't get it. Okay. Oh, God, he's got the son. Oh, he didn't get the son. Oh, here comes the brutal knife attack. Oh, we didn't. What is happening right now? It puts us in the mindset of the characters experiencing it. The fear, the tension, the confusion, the trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And then the payoff. We were promised 2 different brutal attacks or deaths or whatever you want to call it. And they kept pulling the rug out to deliver a double brutal kill.
I think is more brutal than any of the other ones that they teased.
Because we were watching what the magician wanted us to watch. We watched the hand do all the gesticulation and the pulling out the cards, and oh look, there's a rabbit. And what does he do? Okay, oh look, there's a quarter behind that kid's ear, and da da da. We're distracted the way the magician wants us to be, so we don't see the other hand actually doing the trick. So then, the grand reveal, ta-da! Oh God, I didn't see this coming at all. Oh my God. House burns down, and we listen to these characters die and scream brutally, mercilessly.
Fantastic scene.
Now, Sheriff Dave gets a call. He and his wife, the town doctor, go to the scene. I'm torn. Well, how do I put this? Yeah, I'm torn.
Okay.
Why does Sheriff David bring his wife?
Well, David knows who it is.
Right,
And
and that she's friends with the wife.
Yeah.
Isn't that all the more reason to not bring your wife? Your pregnant wife?
She also is treating Bill.
What? She saw him once.
Yeah. So, but she was going to take him into town.
Yeah.
For like a CAT scan or something like that effect. So she's probably like, "No, I'm going with you. This is my patient. I need to find out what's going on with him."
Right.
So
Could be.
I see it.
Or if she's there, like, oh, if they have injuries or something, I can help.
That too.
But you know what? She's not an EMT. She's not an ER doctor. Because even an ER doctor wouldn't have gone out there. They'd be waiting at the hospital like they should be.
Yeah, but
she didn't show up in an ambulance.
This is a small town too. Small town community.
Sure.
She's going to be there to take care of her patient.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. This isn't a movie fault. I'm just going, dude, why did you let your wife come?
Small town.
So because that's when they get there and they're talking to the on-site teams, the firemen. And he's like, well, who made it out? It's like, well, Bill's over there. And there's a big can of gasoline just sitting right there on the porch, just with a box of matches. Clear, and he was just standing right there with them, clear as day,
Whistling.
whistling. That's right. Yeah, he was just whistling like nothing's happening. Well, what about whatever Nancy, whatever her name is, and Nicholas? No, they were locked in a closet upstairs. So now they know not only was this intentional arson, he 100% murdered his wife and son, causing the doctor whose name, hold on, I'm sure I have her name somewhere, but now off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is.
Doctor.
Doctor.
It's weird. It's Dr. Dutton.
Mr. Doctor. Mr. Doctor? Strange. Maybe so, but who am I to say?
Nice.
Thank you. She's loose. She is screaming at him. How could you? But he's sitting there just despondent, just in another world.
Yeah.
And then he starts whistling again. And you're just going, oh, Jesus. So they arrest him, obviously. But it cuts to the next morning, or later that morning, depending on when the house fire is. I don't know. And we see 3 duck hunters. And they see something in the trees, and they're like, the hell is that?
Yeah, what was it, a parachute?
Parachute.
Yeah.
And they follow the line, and they pull on it, and they find the corpse of a pilot. So now, Sheriff David is dealing with not right Bill, just in the jail. And Deputy Russ comes in, and Russ is even like, how long has he been playing statue? Because there's Bill just standing
just
near the
staring.
bars, just standing there staring, motionless. Just, and the sheriff is like, few hours now. We put a call in, the state patrol will be by to pick him up for transfer later. Like, they're getting him the hell out of there.
That crazy some bitch out of here.
Then they get the report, body found. So they go, and it's like, what the hell? There's the parachute. There's the pilot. And then small town. Oh, by the way, boys, I thought duck season ended about 3 months ago, didn't it? Oh no, we're not duck hunt. We were just enjoying fresh air. Nothing wrong with that, right? Guns away till spring, boys. Guns away till, or whatever he says. Yeah. They're like, oh, come on, sheriff. Like,
yeah, you could tell he has a good relationship with damn near everybody in town.
Yeah. He's a small town sheriff who takes pride in his job and treats everyone with respect and dignity, and they in turn, the same for him. And he's not like, almost like when you're in high school and you and your buddies know you're jacking around.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, your favorite teacher is the one who catches you. You still get chastised, but you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. Move it along. You're like, oh, but we were just, no, it's cool. Yeah. Come on. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's just break it up and, they weren't in trouble. They were just like, like, I don't know why the 3 of you are out here. But again, it's just those little touches where it really cements the setting, the characters, everyone's connection, these little moments. They're fun, they're cool, and they tell a lot.
They do tell a lot.
But that's when Sheriff goes, well, we got a pilot. Where's the plane? And that's when the deputy mentions another farmer, someone reported a big crash like 2 or 3 days ago, but I didn't think anything of it, because it was George, whatever the guy, because it was George, because George is full of shit. Yeah, basically. So apparently George has a history, or whatever his name is. This character has a history. He's the one who tells the tall tales, probably at the local bar. And everyone's like, man, you are such full of shit. Shut up.
Such a bullshitter. Yeah.
So nobody,
And every small town has at least one.
Actually, so I didn't grow up in a small town, but I did end up going to high school in a small town. And there was a cafe. And we'd go to periodically, and they served breakfast all day. You could always get pancakes. So I was all about that life.
Hell yeah.
And there was, and you knew it was just one table, and it was like one of the bigger tables in this cafe. And everyone called it the BS table because that's what it was. And every morning for breakfast, the all the old men, a group of and sometimes there were like 4 of them. No shit, sometimes you'd go in, there'd be like 15 of these old farmers in there, all sitting at what was affectionately known as the BS table. And that's all they did. These farmers would come up every morning to get coffee, bite to eat, and would just bullshit with each other for hours. That's all they did. And it was the same table. It's just like, no, they would come in, they wouldn't, oh, hey, guys, yep. And they would just walk in and then just immediately take a seat at the BS table.
Probably there every morning, no matter what.
Every morning. Yeah,
Every
just
morning.
what it was. So Bullshit McGee takes them out on a boat, keeps talking about how they're gonna be reward money, right? And they're like, just shut up and drive the boat before I punch you in the face. He just won't shut up about it.
Yeah, he makes a comment, what are you gonna do? Shoot me?
And that's when now he got a rise out of the sheriff.
He did.
And I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to see David punch that guy in the face.
Absolutely.
I wanted him to just dump his ass out of the boat. But he tells the guy to stop the boat because they found their plane and they're over it. And it in the water, in the swamp, in this bog, whatever they called it, is a huge military plane.
Yeah, this was a cool shot too, with the camera panning up.
Yeah.
And you see the bird's eye view
Of how big this plane is compared to the little motorboat that they're in.
Yeah.
It looks great. But you know what really caught my eye was seeing it like this, because typically this is a shot you see in a shark movie or some sort of water monster movie, like the Meg, which is still a shark, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is where you would see the Kraken go by, or Jaws, or the Meg, and you're just going, oh God.
Yeah. Goddamn, that's a big monster.
Yeah. Why'd you say it like that? So now we've got
one's 350.
You guys got about 350?
What? Goddamn like that money.
Oh, you like that money? I ain't giving you no 350. What? God damn it, woman! This is why you keep coming back and asking for 3 every time I come back and asking for 350. You give 350. So they found their plane, and they're like, "Wait, the sheriff takes the deputy in. They go back into town and they go to Public Works, and he's like, I need to see the maps of the water routes." And the guy's like, good morning to you too, David. Like, but again, it's small town. It's relaxed. He's expecting like, hey, morning, how are you?
Yeah, he ain't got time for
the shooting the shit, the normal, opening small talk. There's no time for that. He's like, good morning to you too. Waste or drinking water. And they learn that essentially this plane is crashed at the source of this town's drinking water. This little bog area drains into the river that drains into this system that supplies the town. They're like, something was in that plane and it is in the water. They're like, what house? Who is the first house that this water line reaches? Rory's.
Yeah, he's doing investigation.
A what?
He's doing his job.
What? A cop doing his job?
And he's doing his job
well. Huh. A police officer using his intelligence, his wits, and his gut to investigate scenes and find the clues and put them together and figure out the bigger picture that they're trying to tell him.
Huh. So
Huh.
isn't also the when we see the plane in the water, isn't that when we get the first image of the satellite
Yes.
looking down on them?
Yep.
That's what I thought. I couldn't remember for
Because
sure.
it's at this time. So throughout the movie, we get images of a bird's eye of whatever scene we're looking at, and then it pulls up to the town, then it pulls up to, but the image just keeps pulling higher and higher up to the point that you realize we're looking at Earth from a satellite. And then it just says initiate containment protocol.
Yes.
But we get multiple of these satellite images. Now we know that the government is watching. Um, let's see. So they know something's wrong with the water. They go to the mayor. We got some old fat white guy swimming laps in his in-ground pool with his farmland in the background.
Very wide open.
Oh, he
There's not a tree anywhere.
that would get in the way of the farmland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the the way this uses just wide open space,
Mm,
like nowhere to hide type of deal
yeah.
is pretty cool. I like this a lot.
And he just, but I was like, also like, really? This old man has a in-ground pool? Because I'll tell you right now, being sheriff of Ogden Marsh, Iowa, isn't in-ground pool money of a job.
You mean mayor?
What did I say?
Sheriff.
Oh, no. Either way.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Being mayor of Ogden Marsh, Iowa is not in-ground pool money levels of job.
Oh, I'm sure he's doing something on the side.
In Ogden Marsh,
Yeah, yeah.
Iowa?
Oh yeah. He's probably got some RV out in the middle of nowhere cooking meth.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Probably. But they're like, we believe something is in the water. We need to shut the water off. And then we get the Jaws scene
We do.
of the mayor saying, Sheriff, look around. We're a farming community. You turn the water off, we can't water our crops. We can't water our crops. You bankrupt everybody. You want me to turn the water off on a hunch? Not going to happen. See you later, boys. Have a good day. That's it. Shut that shit down immediately. Now, to be fair, Amity was a different case because they had hard concrete evidence.
That is correct.
This was a little more of a hunch, and I get the mayor's hesitancy a little more.
Yeah, he doesn't go it's not without it's not with God damn, I can't talk. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that he would just be like, no, we're not shutting the water off.
And that's because sheriff is like, we have 3 dead bodies in 48 hours. Isn't that enough? And he's like, but what proof, what evidence do we have that this plane had anything?
Correct.
You're playing a hunch. And he doesn't say it's stupid or wrong or doesn't make sense. He's just like, but there's not, you're risking the financial ruin of everyone in town. I mean, because they're a farming community. It's all they got.
Yeah, he's looking out for his people
He's looking out
and
for
what
everybody
he thinks is the best way.
without actual concrete evidence that there's anything wrong with the water supply.
Yeah, and I think if sheriff would have came to him with actual evidence, he
Right.
would have done the right thing. He doesn't come off as a complete asshole.
I don't know. I bet he still would have. See, I disagree.
You think so?
I think he still would have been a typical mayor, a
Okay.
typical I'm a career politician, you fucking criminal. So the mayor says no. So that is when the sheriff and deputy go to the water tower.
He does it anyway.
And the sheriff opens the gate and shuts the water off. And I love this line when Russ is like, Sheriff. Oh God, what? Oh, I love the line now. I can't remember. I'm all for some light civil disobedience. but this might actually cost you your job. And Oliphant's just like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like, that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yeah. Given the bodies that are starting to rack up
Yeah.
and probably the guilt on his conscience, he's
yeah.
like, I'm not so sure that would be such a bad thing. And Russ is like, fair enough.
Yeah.
And they just kind of move on.
Yeah, he turns the water off, takes the handle.
So not only does he shut the water off, he takes the handle so it can't be turned back on without his say so. So we have a power move on top of a power move. Well, fuck you. I'm shutting the water off anyway. Oh, you think you could turn it back on? My handle now. I like that a lot.
I do too.
The balls on Sheriff Dutton to do what is right.
Absolutely.
Or what he believes to be right. So I enjoyed that a lot. They go back and oh God, Bill's still in jail and Bill's dead. As they find the cell is bloody and he is just laying on the floor bleeding from his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Which I'm no doctor, but I've been around enough to know that is typically a bad sign.
Yeah, he may need to get that looked at.
Oh, you're bleeding from your mouth or nose? You're probably all right. Eyes and ears? More serious.
Yeah, you're going to need a couple of Band-Aids.
So they're like, oh God. Russ goes to open the gate or open the jail cell, but Sheriff stops him because the sheriff notices Bill's still breathing. It's shallow, and as they approach, Bill lashes out and tries to grab them through the bars and attack them. And the sheriff and deputy pull away, and he's like, weren't State Patrol supposed to be here earlier today to pick this motherfucker up? Yes, they were. No one made it into town. And you're just going, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah, that's what, doesn't he go over to make a phone call?
So goes to make a phone call. That phone has no signal. Goes to use the other desk phone. That phone has no signal. Gets online. There is no internet access. Checks his cell phone. There is no cell signal. This town has cut off from everything. I was about to make a point, but I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
He goes to the morgue to check on the bodies and to talk to the mortician. But he can't find the mortician. And then as he's looking around, there are bodies under sheets, but there are definitely more than there should be. That's weird. And he pulls a sheet back, and was it Rory?
Oh, the one that was.
No, the first one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think it was Rory.
I think it's Rory. And, the eyes are typically, and the mouth are typically sewn shut, like wired shut.
Yeah.
But they're wired shut with big X's over the eyes. It's like, that's not right. Then he sees shoes and pant leg. Well, that's not. There are too many bodies in here. And he pulls it out, and it's the priest. And the priest has his eyes and mouth wired shut, like they normally should be. Although the job is done without any care for the aesthetic.
Yeah, kind of a little sloppy.
You would not have an open casket with that wiring job.
No.
But other than that, it's normal. Except for the fact that the priest is definitely still alive.
And his eyes are kind of open a little bit, and he can still see.
And so Sheriff gets a pair of scissors, cuts the wires around his lips, and the priest just whispers, "Behind you." Oh my God. And that's when the sheriff turns around, the mortician hits him in the head with like an IV pole.
Yes, I was trying to remember what he actually hit him with, but yeah. Knocks his ass to the ground.
It's some sort. Well, it would be an IV, probably for like formaldehyde or whatever chemicals the embalming chemicals he's using. It's an IV pole, and rings his bell. Then he gets the big electric bone saw out,
Yeah, you hear that thing starting up, and it's like, God damn.
and they have a bit of a fight scene, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it's not like over the top or anything, but yeah, it's a little
No,
scuffle.
it's not, Neo and Agent Smith, right? But they scuffle as the mortician is swinging to kill
That would have been fantastic.
with the little hand motion. If
Yeah.
he were to just with his fingers just like bring it on.
The two jumping towards each other and the camera spin around as the
Yeah.
mortician has the bone saw and he has David has his gun. Yeah.
Although the mortician keeps swinging for the neck, man.
Oh yeah,
It is
he's swinging for the fences, boy.
home run swings exclusively.
Yes.
Sheriff gets it does cut him a little, but let's face it, the mortician is an old squat man who is not stronger or more athletic than Sheriff David.
Yeah, he takes care of it.
And gets the cord and pulls it in such a way that it jerks the bone saw into the mortician's neck and collarbone, like his clavicle, and it just starts to dig in and it kills the mortician. But it's still going. So then it hits the ground and then takes off like a race car towards
His crotch.
the sheriff's nuts. And the sheriff is backing up as quick as he can, but before it can get him, it's stopped, and then the power's killed as Deputy Russ comes in and, hearing the scuffle, and unplugs it and saves the day in that regard. And they're just going, "Oh Jesus!"
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that. That's very. I knew what was going to happen too, but I was like, oh god, oh god.
Now I want to touch on what I was going to touch on before,
Okay.
because we're at a turning point here. The next moment is the big turning point.
Right.
Up to this point, this movie has done a great job of giving us the action we're here for a horror movie, with the murders and the blood and the violence, but weaving it into their story in a way that it's satisfying, but we're still just going, we're bewildered. What in the hell is going on?
Yeah, it does a really good job of just slowly building it up too. Like,
Yes.
starts with the one house and the one guy, and then it just snowballs and snowballs.
But you know what isn't slow? The pacing.
Oh no.
The movie is cooking.
Yeah, it goes quick.
So the build, it's not all of a sudden everyone's infected and it's all mass chaos. We're being strung along, going like, as we're like, okay, there's one weirdo. Okay, oh god, but then that guy murdered his family. Oh god, now there's a crashed military helicopter plane in the water supply. That can't. Oh, the mortician who we met earlier, know to be a decent guy, is now torturing and murdering people and trying to kill the sheriff. What is happening? Why is it happening? What in the hell? And I like that a lot.
Me too.
So many movies, especially nowadays, but also you look at any era, they're there, where we are given too much too soon, in the sense that maybe it's just too much action too soon, and we're just going like, I can't follow anything. There's nothing to follow.
Yeah, they're too eager to get to the big set pieces.
Exactly. Or we get too many answers too soon. Long legs. And it spoils the ride. I cannot be confused and enjoy this bewildering tension as I'm invested in this story of uncovering the chaos, if I was given an answer before the chaos really starts.
That's fair.
Your audience needs to go on a ride, but they can't go on a ride if they know the ending.
You don't want to have an image of an old man dragging a woman down the road
Of Satan
at the beginning.
An old man dragging a young woman, Satan making a ham and cheese in the kitchen, Um, God, I had another one. It's gone, but you get my point.
Yeah.
The alien spaceship crashing in Antarctica. Don't need it.
Yeah.
It spoils the fun. Hey, I bought you a puzzle. It's done already,
You're welcome.
but you can look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care now. Thanks for nothing. Jackass.
I love that. That's awesome.
Great. I'll just put some glue on it and hang on my wall, I guess.
Yeah, I already did that. It's already in the frame and everything. It's glued.
Here you go.
So
I-
you got me a picture.
Look how great this puzzle I bought you is. And I already put everything together and made it ready because you're obviously going to want to display it from how much enjoyment you've gotten from this puzzle you didn't get to put together. Shut up. It spoils it. This movie does none of those things. We have been taken on a ride that's a slow burn of increasing tension as we like our main character Sheriff David Dutton desperate to figure out what in the hell is going on, but the intensity and the action is snowballing because now it's becoming more frequent and the intensity of the attacks or of the incidents is ramping up. And we're just going, oh, geez, yeah, here we go. The roller coaster climbed to the top of the initial peak, and now it's shooting down. The ride is going. So they leave the mortician's office, and David and is taken by soldiers.
Yeah, the military have arrived and they're rounding everybody up.
Which plays into it does a few things. It's playing into the sheriff was right, and this plane has everything to do with everything, which we pretty much already knew with the military satellite shot. But it still doesn't answer anything really. Because now we're
Yeah.
just going, oh God, now why is the military here? And why are they systematically rounding up everyone? I have it in my notes here. Military containment camp. They have medical devices. They are screening every man, woman, and child. And based on what they're finding, they're separating families. They're pulling people apart. They're taking people into room A, or this person goes into hallway B, into corridor C, and goes into that room. These people are just being herded like cattle into an outdoor fenced area where they're inside a cyclone fence with barbed wire wrapped around it. You're going, what the hell is that?
Yeah, they're taking everybody's temperature.
Yes,
If they have
are.
a temperature, then they are getting separated. And this reminded me a whole lot because I had forgotten about this scene. But back when COVID was a thing, before I could report to work at the grocery store that I worked at, I had to get my temperature taken every day before I clocked in. And
Really?
yes, and it was the same similar device. They just put it to your forehead
Yeah.
and pulled the trigger and checked your temperature.
Lobotomize
But
you.
but that reminded me of that a whole lot. I was like, holy shit.
How many people were going in at the grocery store during COVID? Like that level of COVID. I imagine you probably had some quiet days.
Well, I ran the online shopping portion of it, so no. My days were never quiet.
You got the bad end of
I
it.
got the bad end of the shaft. Yeah. With all the splinters and nails still in it.
Baby.
Ugh.
But even still, okay, now we know they're checking temperature, but we don't know what they're checking for.
Correct.
What temperature do you need? Is there a range? Like they're answering questions while still leaving questions. Their answers create more questions, but that's what you want. Your audience and your characters and your audience need to be wondering, need to be concerned and curious simultaneously. And this movie does that.
Yes, it does.
David is separated from his wife because she has a slight fever. Because she is pregnant and she has had this above average temperature for about a month. Now, we, the audience, know okay, more than likely, she is not infected. Not if she's had it for a month. This hasn't been going on that long.
Yeah.
But it gives us a reason to see what's going on behind door number 2 as David is forced into door number 1, and I believe door number 3 is the weird cyclone fenced in people. And I still don't know what the hell is going on with them.
Yeah, and David tries to kick these guys' ass. He's fighting for his wife.
And they knock him the
And
fuck out.
they calm that shit down real quick. But I like that David actually fought for his woman.
So David is herded into like, it looked like a truck trailer used to haul cattle.
Yes.
And I think that is a very important observation to make, that they are herded into cattle trailers.
Yes, they are.
So everyone that was deemed okay, put in a cattle trailer, moved somewhere, and you see them getting wristbands to determine that they were good and they can move on. David's in line, and there's a townsperson he knows next to him. What's his name? Ken? I can't remember.
I can't remember his name.
He's like, they took my wife. I gotta go get her. And they're like, David, don't be stupid. This could be our only chance to get out of here alive. And you would risk it for a fool's errand?
Oh, yeah.
And he goes,
I love this line.
Goes, rescuing my wife is a fool's errand? And there's awkward silence. And that's when he hits him with another great line. Ken, whatever his name is, Ken, you don't ask me why I can't leave without my wife, and I won't ask you why you can leave without yours. And I just went, oh, shit.
Yeah. That's
shots fired.
Fantastic.
Shots fired.
Fantastic line. Great delivery. Oh, yeah. I like that a lot.
So David sneaks off. But while this is happening, some locals are not taking this military occupation well. They've loaded up one of their big trucks, got whatever, guns they have, because they're farmers. They all have shotguns, rifles, handguns. They run their truck through the outdoor fence containing those people. And a shootout ensues between the military and these farmers. But now the people in the fence are loose and begin tackling everyone and running for safety. About half of them run for safety, and the other half seem to indiscriminately tackle whoever they can.
Yeah, they're definitely tackling the military people and kicking some ass.
Then it cuts to the wife's point of view. How horrifying is this? She is strapped to a gurney, being led through the high school.
Yes, they are in the high school.
They're in the high school as people in full hazmat suits, the white hazmat suits with the tinted visors and gas mask respirators. She's like, please don't, Dave. Oh, God, please. She's everything from praying to God to praying that David comes and rescues her to asking them what they're doing and asking them to please not do it.
Yeah, trying to plead with them. Yeah, I'm pregnant. I'm not sick. I'm pregnant. That's why I have a fever.
And they put her, still completely strapped down and helpless, in a classroom, full of other gurneyed people. Horrifying.
And these people ain't right.
Well, that's the thing, though. Some of them are. Some of them are nothing.
There is a few, yes. That is
and
correct.
Some of them are clearly not right. There's a young I couldn't tell male or female, but there's a younger person just laughing, just giggling like an Arkham Asylum patient. Right? But all of a sudden, the doctors in the room, or whoever these researchers, scientists, whatever they are, I was like, hey, the military's pulling out. We have to leave. Containment's been breached. So the personnel leave, and they leave these people strapped to gurneys. Oh, my God.
Yeah, don't give a shit about them.
So surely to God, it cannot get worse. And as the wife is looking around, she sees a high school girl. She's what, 16, 17, something?
Oh, Becca. Yeah.
Becca. She is crying. Rightly so.
Becca works for the doctor
Oh,
because
that's right.
earlier we
Yeah,
see her where she asks to get off early.
you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, and she's like, it's gonna be okay. Just, we'll get through this. And then you hear this scraping sound, and here comes the high school principal with a pitchfork.
Dragging it behind him. And this is so fantastic with him dragging the pitchfork and making that creepy ass scratching noise. It sells one, like how heavy this fucking thing is.
Mm-hmm.
It and then two, like just the creepy sound it gives off anyway.
Yeah.
It's great. I love this part.
And they're like, "What is that?" And then here he comes in, walking by the room they're in, covered in blood. And he's about to walk past, and then he looks over, and he just sees a room full of people. All right. And he comes in, and he starts checking everybody out. And the wife is kind of half playing dead, keeping an eye on things, but being quiet. Becca's trying to be quiet, but can't stop crying. But there's all these, some of them are possibly dead already, or they're just being quiet. And then there are others, like our giggling friend, but he's looking around and sees someone who is clearly alive and drives that pitchfork all the way through them and out the bottom of the gurney. You brought up you liked the detail of the way the pitchfork, the sound it makes. I like the detail of the pitchfork itself. Did you notice anything? Was there anything about the pitchfork that caught your eye?
Other than the blood dripping off of it and leaving a trail.
It's not a full size pitchfork.
Oh, it's not. I didn't notice that.
Because there are some that's got like the extra long handle.
Oh yeah. Okay. I know what you mean.
It's not that. It's a half handle, like it's a half shaft pitchfork with a shovel grip. So you can put more power behind it. It gives you a grip handle so you can drive it.
Nice.
It's not like the painting American Gothic
Yeah.
with that old man with the 6-foot pitchfork.
Yeah.
It's about a 3-foot pitchfork, if that, 2.5 maybe, with a shovel handle to drive it for the harder work that needs to be done, which makes his attacks all the more brutal because the character, but also the actor in their performance, have something to give them purchase to really drive it in.
That's nice.
It's
I
not
like
just a
that.
stick. He can drive and push. You can shove it. And oh my God. Yeah. Look at the pitchfork. Look at the handle. It's not.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So he begins killing people in the room, and he's working his way down the line.
Yeah, he just like randomly going from
And
table
that's,
to table,
it's not
gurney to gurney.
It's not even systematic. Like, I'll do all of this row. He like, oh, this one's definitely alive. Stab. And he's looking around. And there's some who seem alive, but he just kind of goes by them. And like the giggling one gets them and is looking around like, oh yeah, I don't like the look of that one. Stab. Whatever it is. But he's making his way ultimately towards Becca. That's when the doctor screams, gets his attention, saves Becca, but now he's coming for her. And she's like, you could tell, instant regret. Instant, immediate regret. And he's about to drive that pitchfork home when gunshot. Here comes David.
Saved at the last
Saves
minute.
the day. David gets Becca and his wife out. They make an escape of the camp and make their way back to the police station because David needs more weapons.
Yeah, and Russell's with him too.
Is he with them at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Because he shows up at the police station.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
They go to.
I think you're right. Yep.
David, his wife, and Becca go to the police station. That's when David gets his because he's checking the weapons locker. Everything's been cleaned out. But he has a gun hidden in a locked storage box in the bottom drawer of his desk. So he gets the key out of the top drawer and then pulls out this little, it almost looks like a metal lunchbox, and it's got an old service revolver. And he's got it and he starts loading it, but he has time to put one bullet in as he hears the door open, and he draws that hammer back. He's ready to blow someone away, and then Deputy Russ comes around with a shotgun, and they see each other. He's like, "Oh, good to see you, Sheriff." He's like, "Oh, Russ." Now Russ is with them. Now we have our four. And they begin trying to figure out how in the hell to get out of here. They're walking down the street and they're trying to find a car. So Russ had almost made it out of town because he didn't get taken by the military. Russ almost made it. As he was crossing the city limit line, they spiked his tires.
That's right. I do remember him saying that.
But he was able to get away. So they're going, okay, we just find a car and get out of here. They're walking down what I keep calling Main Street.
Very Left 4 Dead.
I got that too. I got Walking Dead. There was that shot of the city was deserted, like the town is deserted and everything's way too quiet when Sheriff David's checking for cell phone signal, and then it's just him walking down the deserted street and he realizes there's no one around and he hears nothing, and it took me right back to Rick Grimes.
The very first episode.
The very first episode.
With that little girl.
Yeah. Not that scene, but
yeah,
that moment where he's walking down the street and there is nothing. So anyway, they're on Main Street. All the cars are booted. The military has shut down all the cars. So I did have a question here, though. This made me, Presumably, they have access to car boots. Their sheriff's office. Which means presumably they have the universal tool to take a boot off, do they not?
Yeah, I don't know if this town. Do you think the sheriff's office would have a boot?
I think they would have a boot. I don't think they would use a boot.
Yeah.
Those are different things.
So that would kind of make me think that.
But maybe they don't.
They don't know where the key is because they've never used this fucking boot.
Right.
So, yeah.
I don't know. You get my...
Yeah.
I don't know. It was still one of those things where maybe they don't. Maybe it's small enough town. They don't have boots, which is probably true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, I personally would have made... I would have been like, oh, there's a car. And there's nothing. And they pop the hood and they're like, oh, Jesus, the starter is gone. And then they check. And it's like, this one is too. It's something more like...
More incapacitating.
More incompetent, more like, oh, well, there's a chance they don't just have an obvious answer to it.
Yeah.
But all the cars are booted. It's fine.
Yeah, I can see your point there, but yeah, I don't think this town has a boot.
No, it didn't really. I brought up the question. It didn't really bother me, but I brought up the question. Well, Russ finds a truck that isn't booted. They can get out. Sheriff sees way too much blood spilling out of the back tailgate, and it's like, Russ, get the hell away from that truck right now. They go to hide. Out come the 3 duck hunters from before.
Yeah, they're not well.
They're not hunting ducks.
No.
There's somebody running for their life, and then a shotgun blast blows a hole out of their chest. They drop dead. Oh, I got him right through the heart. I knew that shot felt good. I saw it. I took it. And they're like, man, you got to take them shots when you see them. You just got to. They're talking casually about hunting and nailing a good shot while hunting. Then, like you would with a deer or a duck or turkey or whatever you're hunting, they take the body and throw it in the bed of their truck. And as they lower the tailgate, the bed of their truck is just filled with bodies. It's just going, oh my God. Oh my God. That's not good. So all the cars are out. Well, David brings up he has an old police cruiser that it's been his hobby almost. He just kind of tinkers with it. And they're like, that piece of shit still works? He goes, works enough, and it's up on blocks. They can't boot it. Yeah, but it doesn't work with tires. He's like, I got tires that'll work. So there's like, yeah, but that's like 7 miles. Well, it's 5 if we cut through the McLaren farm or, whatever the name is. Like, okay, let's do that. So they cut through the farm. And that is when They're cutting through the farm. Come to find out, this is Scotty's farm, Becca's boyfriend and his family. They find the boyfriend. There's a tense standoff with guns because no one knows who's infected, who's right, who's not right. But everyone determines they're all good. While hiding in the barn, the military shows up and pretty much instantly just gunned down Scotty's mom,
Oh yeah.
which then causes Scotty to freak out, run outside. They just see some guy running. They gun him down. Then they flamethrower the bodies.
Ain't taking no chances.
The military, one of the soldiers goes to investigate the barn. They're able to kidnap him, work out a deal, and they let the military, and he's just a young kid, but they let the soldier go.
Yeah, and he tells them that because they take off his gas mask,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh my god, am I going to die? Am I going to die?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
He's like, is that what they told you?
Yeah, we're told to keep our gas masks on because place is contaminated, and so yeah, he's being lied to by his boss, and yeah, he's just a puppet being used.
Well, yeah.
But,
He's a soldier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but no, I mean he's not being told anywhere near the truth.
No.
So yeah, he has no idea what the hell's going on.
But they make a deal, so he tells the other soldiers, barn's clean, no one in here. They all leave, so now our squad can keep going. They make it to the sheriff's house. Everybody keeps splitting up. I know it's a horror movie. I get it. This will never not be a pet peeve of mine.
Well, they're back at the house. They got stuff to do to prepare to leave.
Then go in teams.
That's not how this works.
But it should. This is when we write our horror movie, no one will go off alone. Then it's our job as the writers to figure out how maybe that still wasn't enough. That's on us. But this whole trope of like, for no reason whatsoever, we're going to ignore all basic common sense and just scatter. So stupid. I hate it. They all split up. Becca's doing dick all. Russ is working on the car. The sheriff's doing dick all. I don't know what he's up to.
I don't remember what him and his wife were doing.
Well, she's upstairs packing clothes. And then she sees the baby's room. And she's real sentimental. She's been overly sentimental about stupid things this whole movie. So she goes into the room. She's like got her hand on her tummy and she's like, this was going to be your room. This was going to be your town. But I guess not anymore. I'm like, just shut the hell up and get out of the house. What are you doing? No one gives a shit about your nursery.
Pack your shit and go.
Because in the corner, adjacent to the door, there's someone in the room with her.
Yeah, there is.
David, realizing his wife's been gone a while, goes to check on her, sees the baby room door open, and is like, oh, she's in here. Walks in, nothing at first, and then in the far corner sees her completely tied up and restrained in the rocking chair. And he goes, huh? To which then he is tackled by a man, a young...
Rory's son.
Young lad. But at this point, I remember thinking, I was like, wait, he just got tackled by a guy, but the person I saw in the room with the wife was definitely a woman. I didn't recognize them at first.
Oh, you didn't?
No, not first.
Yeah.
Sheriff gets tackled, guns knocked out of his hand. There's a struggle. He's reaching for it. Right before he can touch it, a knife is driven right through his hand. And then we learn that, yes, this would be Rory's very sick mother and son.
Wife and son.
I'm sorry, wife and son.
It's not that type of a relationship.
I don't know. It's rural Iowa.
There is no incest in this movie.
What about incest adjacency?
Nothing there.
Okay.
Nope.
Fair. It's not that kind of movie.
Yeah, their names it's Peggy and Kurt.
Sure.
Peggy.
What's the wife's name? The actual character that matters.
Judy.
Judy. That's right. It is Judy. Now I can recall her Judy instead of wife.
Woman.
Or doctor. Bitch,
Doctor Woman.
Dr. Woman. We find out this is Rory's wife and son, Peggy and Kurt. And she picks up the sheriff's gun. She's like, "This is it. This is the gun that killed your daddy." And I'm watching it going, "No, it isn't, you stupid bitch."
Yeah. Well, she wasn't there. She doesn't know.
That's true. Maybe if she was keeping a better eye on her husband, didn't let him storm off places with a shotgun. But no, my only thought was, no, he definitely killed Rory with like his Beretta. And this is a revolver. These are very different guns. But you're right, she doesn't know that. So now they're making this whole symbolic gesture of getting revenge on the man that took their husband/father.
Yeah, because she keeps talking and pointing the gun at the wife.
The wife.
Yeah.
Gonna make him pay. David works the knife out of the floor that was pinning his hand down. The knife is still in his hand. He's just not pinned to the floor anymore. He throws an elbow, knocks Kurt out for a sec, gets up, and stabs Peggy in the throat.
This was cool. I like this.
And so now he, like, open palm slaps her, like, under the chin. But, you know, there's a knife blade sticking out of the palm of his hand like he's some variant of Wolverine. And he just stab. And then now she's bleeding profusely from her neck wound right into his hand. And I just thought, he's infected. And he's screwed. Luckily, as we find out, it's not that kind of infection. He's okay.
He's fine.
But he'll probably want some sort of hepatitis test for sure.
Put some spit on it. You'll be fine. Rub a little dirt on it.
Then Kurt attacks him. There's a struggle. Then there's another. So in the struggle, the gun goes off. He kills Peggy. Now David and Kurt are tussling. And there's another gunshot, and Kurt drops. And there's Russ outside the window with his rifle. He heard the first gunshot, saw the tussle through the window, and got a shot on Kurt. Got him.
Saves his boss.
That's
again.
Right. Again. David unties Judy, and Russ comes in, and then double taps Rory's the Crazies.
Yes,
double taps him, and he's like, "Gotta be sure," and then continues to just keep shooting them for like 4 times a piece. And then David and Judy definitely just give each other a knowing look. They go on. The big question is Russ infected? My big question is David.
Yeah, David's fine.
They get the cruiser working. They're going. There's a military helicopter. It definitely sees them, and now it's beginning to bank around on to turn around and take on an intercepting course. They get off the road and duck into a nearby car wash. Come to find out, the car wash is definitely still occupied by its former employees, who turn the car wash on, trapping their cruiser. And now they're stuck in the car wash from hell as the camera's in the car as the windows get all sudsed up, but you just see flashes of people and movement outside.
So cool.
This was cool.
Yeah, this is a cool scene.
Gunfire. They're trying to take these guys out. People are getting, attacked through windows, and, one guy busts the windshield out, and it is just chaos.
Russell rolls down the window and sticks the shotgun out the window to just start shooting.
And just starts shooting. He's like, "I saw movement. There's movement everywhere."
Everything's fucking moving.
Everything's fucking moving. But they end up handling their business as best they can. They kill the Crazies. They're going to leave when all of a sudden, from the back windshield that was also busted out, a guy is on the roof of the car, wraps some hoses around Becca's neck, and she gets ripped out of the car and hanged. And then they're like, "Oh God, stomp the brakes." So outside the car wash, they stomp the brakes, where some guy just, "Whoa!" and just rolls off the roof of the car onto the hood, onto the ground. They kill him. They go to save Becca, but she's dead. I don't know why she's dead.
Broke her neck.
That's the thing. She was not hanging long enough to suffocate.
No, it was the motion of
But the motion had, except
being yanked out of the back of that car.
the motion wasn't that violent.
Nitpick.
It's, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's borderline Barbara's brother hitting his head on the tombstone. I just went, that killed her?
No.
I didn't realize she has that brittle bone disease.
It wasn't such an easy ride like ziplining down after an airplane in Waterworld.
But no, ultimately she is ripped out of a car by her neck and it breaks her neck. She's dead. But while they're inside the car wash, trying to save her and then realizing she's dead, the helicopter had finished its turn and fired a missile
Blew up their car.
and blows up the car. And they're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, so Becca dying saved their asses. All their
Yes.
asses.
Saved everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, because they would have been toast.
She was going to die anyway,
Yeah.
apparently. So they're walking again. They see a car coming. They spike the tires, or I should say Russ does. Come to find out there's a government agent in there. He tells them that the plane held a U.S. manufactured bioweapon
Trixie.
called Trixie that was going to be used to destabilize populations, but it was on its way to Texas for incineration. I guess it was deemed not viable, not useful, maybe too uncontrollable, but it went down. And then Rush shoots him for no reason. And that's when they're just like, oh God. So now he's like going through the car looking for something, but it's really unclear what or why.
Yeah, I don't remember what he was even looking for.
It
or
doesn't
if they
say.
even
He
say.
doesn't even know. He's
just ransacking,
being weird.
getting whatever he can.
And so Sheriff David definitely takes his gun, the rifle, because he had set it down.
Yeah.
And when Russ gets out of the car, he's like, yeah, I'm going to need that back. He's like, it's heavy. I'll hold on to it for a while. You're good.
Yeah. You've been carrying it a long time. You look tired. I got this.
Yeah. Then Russ pulls out the hidden gun that he had, that they didn't know he had, and basically takes David and Judy hostage. They continue walking.
Yeah, he doesn't look the best. His face is a little pale.
He looks he's looking a little rough.
Yeah.
David's like, nope, gotta talk to him, ultimately punches him, incapacitates him, gets all the weapons, but that shot knocked Russ to his senses enough to know that, oh God, I'm sick.
He's sick.
And he's cool, like, because he had been acting weird for a little while.
Yeah. He had been off his his game.
He was a fun character who then also progressively started to get more erratic. But it's not like he was normal and then flew off the deep end. There are little signs throughout, and that's really cool. That's done well.
I agree.
They continue to go, but they find the military checkpoint. This was the checkpoint that leads to the truck stop where everyone who was deemed safe and healthy were being taken for evacuation. But they got to get through the checkpoint. And they're like, well, they're going to see us. So a plan is hatched. Sheriff and Judy go around in the tall grass, dodging the velociraptors, as Russ, knowing he's screwed anyway, draws their attention and sacrifices himself and gets gunned down by the soldiers. But David and Judy make it past. They make it to the truck stop. But there's no one there. No survivors, no signs of evacuation, nothing. Looking around, they separate again for reasons. Because he's like, hey, you wait here. I'm going to check inside. David does. He tells Judy, kiss my lily white ass with that horseshit. I turned to Anna. I said, this just irritates me so much. They've separated so many times, and every time they do, something bad happens to them. Stop. I was like, I was like, Anna, let's say we're in this situation. A, I'm giving you one of the handguns we have, and I'm going to hold your hand with the one that isn't holding a weapon, and I'm going to say, stay close and watch my back. And we're doing this together
Absolutely.
as you would.
As you should. Yeah.
No one would keep separating like this. But he's inside stocking up. He's getting food, water, clothes, whatever he can find. As he's also, hello, anybody here? Nobody there. So, he's scoping it out while also getting supplies because they're at a really big truck stop. As Judy is walking around outside, I did joke with Anna. I was like, do you think after they survive this, they only drink bottled water for the rest of their lives?
Oh, shit.
They're not drinking from the tap ever again.
Nope. Probably never even taking a shower again.
Not without boiling everything, or
Yeah.
they're going to have a hell of a bottled water bill. But she finds truck trailers.
And bullet casings.
Well, she finds the trailer first and goes to look. And that's where she stops. We don't see her anymore. As we see David doing his thing, he does eventually come back outside, sees her on the ground, runs over, and she just holds up huge assault rifle bullet casings and points to the trailer. And inside are the executed and burned bodies of everyone who had a wristband, of everyone that had been deemed healthy and was promised evacuation. They killed everyone. The military, that is.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
It's a good thing he went on that fool's errand.
Right. Because he'd have died too.
Yep.
Although his death would have probably have been way quicker and more humane than what Judy had lined up for her
That ain't no shit.
with the pitchfork.
That ain't no shit.
They again separate to get supplies or do what the hell ever. And David finds a big rig still there.
Not a boot.
No boot.
No boot on it.
They just got to find some keys. As Judy's walking around, again, doing dick all or nothing. But in the background, a large man who looks very not good. He looks very ill. But he's just standing there so silently, just watching.
Yeah, because she's walking around the diner getting bottled water out of the thing.
He never moves except to turn his head to keep her squarely in his eyesight, and I love that.
Yes.
His body never moves, just the turn of his neck. Because it's so odd and unnatural looking that adds to the, how do you put it? It just adds
got
to
the heebie-jeebies.
It's like how Michael Myers sits up.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no one sits up like that. It's so just off-putting, right? They don't move. They just turn their head and watch. Come to find out, the duck hunters are back. Chaos ensues. There's some cat and mouse. There's some fighting. Sheriff David gets his ass whipped by the real big one in the oil change trench, in the oil pit under the big rig. Oof.
Yeah. This was cool. I like this fight.
Fighter ass whipping.
There was a few moments where he gets thrown around and it's like, my God, his back hits that
you could feel
corner of the steel. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like watching Mick Foley get thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, stop it.
And then thrown through the cage.
Yeah.
And then thrown onto the tacks. And
stop. He's already dead.
Good God Almighty.
Judy gets a kill, which I appreciated.
Yes.
She's getting hunted. She hides in the back of the cab. And as the guy's like looking for her, he like opens the door where he thinks she's hiding. She's not there. And then he just kind of like pokes his head in like, I don't know, like a groundhog, like checking for his shadow, right? Just pokes his head in and starts looking around. And as he turns to the right, there she is in the sleeper portion of the cab with the revolver.
Yeah.
And then you just see brains splatter against the windshield. I was just like, yeah, got him.
Yeah, I love that.
Then David ultimately defeats the big one by covering him in oil and then lighting him on fire. And that's brutal.
Yeah.
He gets out of the pit. They got the keys. They escape. Weren't there 3 duck hunters?
There were 3.
They only killed 2. Somewhere there is another duck hunter.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I think you're right. I think they only killed 2.
But we see all 3 of them at one point.
Yeah.
Because there's the big one because we see the one watching Judy. That's one. She hides. We see him hunting for her. Then we see the second one come up. They go and just kind of like look at each other, and then they go separate ways. Then David gets into the scuffle with the one that was in the pit, but the one in the pit was not one of the 2.
Yeah, so there's
the second one is still, they killed, the number is irrelevant, but they kill 1 and 3. 2 is still there somewhere.
Still looking for somebody else to shoot.
Yeah. But they escape. They've got a soldier's radio. There's a countdown. And they're like, oh, God, what's going to happen when it counts down? I don't know. Let's get the hell out of here as fast as we can. Gets to 0. Nothing happens. And they're like, oh, what? Wait. What? That's weird. And then boom, mushroom cloud,
bright light,
and then the shockwave that throws the truck. And unfortunately, they're not buckled up, but they do survive as the town is nuked. And then they walk on to Cedar Rapids, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Except then the camera begins to pan out and out and out and out, and we see that a government satellite has been watching them, sees them going to Cedar Rapids, and initiates lockdown protocol.
Containment protocol over again.
And credits. Question. I took the ending 2 ways.
Okay.
Or I see 2 ways it could go, and I just really want to get your thoughts on it. And if any of you have seen this movie, or after listening to us or during listening to us, if you watch it, hit us up in the comments. I want to know your guys' thoughts on the ending. Containment protocol activated. Is that because A, maybe the water contamination or something, has the contamination spread to Cedar Rapids? Or are they just doing it because survivors of Ogden Marsh have shown up in Cedar Rapids? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if the infection has spread, like if it has actually spread, I'm afraid to say it, but I believe our protagonists are screwed. Because they barely survived this encounter in a town of 1,200 people. I do not believe they will now, still battered, bruised, exhausted, starved, etc., survive this encounter again at a scale of a population of 120,000 people.
No.
I do not believe they have leveled up as their situation would require them to need to do.
That's fair.
Or is the government assuming that they are infected, are bringing it with them? And if that's the case, again, fork in the road. Lockdown protocol. It is ultimately discovered that there is no infection. David and Judy are not infected. They are not contagious. And that everything will be declared clean and good? Or do they carry some form of contagion with them? In which case, it all goes to hell again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are your how do you see this? How do you see them going into Cedar Rapids and lockdown protocol initiating? How do you see that happening?
Oh, I think it's going to be a replay of the exact same thing.
So you think the contagion is there? The infection.
I think the satellite has been following them from the beginning. I mean, since they left the school, I think it's it knows the government knows that they've escaped, and that's why I like the openness of all the farmland, and you can see as far as your eye can see. There's nowhere to hide really.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think that the government assumes both Judy and David are sick,
Hmm.
and they're getting ready to lock down, just like they did Ogden Marsh.
Oh God. So, do you think Judy and David are infected?
No,
Do you think the government will just kill them on site without any testing?
absolutely.
So, no matter the scenario, do you think our protagonists die?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
And I'm also kind of anticipating that the government learn from their mistakes and they'll just nuke Cedar Rapids.
Just all of it.
Just all of it.
Oh, just from
Right at the beginning. As soon as the camera spots them going into Cedar Rapids, they're like, oh yep, nope, boom.
they'll kill all communication services,
Yep.
shut down anyone leaving, and then
Yep. Drop a
okay,
bomb.
brutal.
Yeah, I don't see him making it out of this.
All right, anything you want to touch on?
No, I think we've hit everything.
All right, ratings. IMDb 6.5.
Way too low.
Seems low to me. Rotten Tomatoes 71%.
Too low.
Maybe a hair. I put this at like 75 ish. I don't know. What do you
Okay.
think?
I'm going towards lower 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
81 to
81 or 2.
okay. Reviews. Ebert.
Oh, we get Ebes this time.
Ebes.
Okay.
A perfectly competent genre film in a genre that has exhausted its interest for me. 2.5 stars. It's a totally fine movie. There's nothing egregiously wrong with it. There's nothing in particular to write home about either. He just has zombie fatigue, which is understandable.
It's understandable at this time this movie was released. But how can you be so wrong? This is not a zombie movie.
We'll get there. The Guardian, 3 out of 5 stars. A remake of the cult zombie film from the early 70s that is propped up by the brooding Timothy Oliphant.
I agree with that.
Both of these reviews, and the vast majority of the reviews that I found, are all just like, meh, it's fine. It's Shelley Duvall levels of fine. There's nothing terrible. There's nothing spectacular. It just is. And coming out in 2010, man, there were so many zombie movies.
I agree. Yeah.
Is this a zombie movie? Everyone calls it a zombie movie.
No.
I don't think it's a zombie
It's
movie.
not a zombie movie.
These aren't zombies.
No,
So
they're not.
now the big question, what is a zombie? How can we declare that this is not a zombie movie? I have my thought on it. What do you
Zombies undead or the dead coming back from
That's where I'm
coming
at.
alive.
The key, like the spawning point, is there had to have been a death and then a reanimation.
Because do you think that they have a cure for this particular virus?
No.
You don't think so? Like, could no? Okay, not that they have one, because I'm pretty sure they don't.
That's what I'm saying.
That's one
No.
of the reasons why they wanted to destroy this. But do you think they could eventually come up with one?
Possibly.
So that's why I'd say they're not zombies.
Well, see, I'm saying they're not zombies more in
That's another
the
reason.
infected never die.
Correct.
And because they don't die, they don't reanimate.
Correct.
If there's no reanimation, there is no zombie. A zombie is undead.
Correct.
This is almost akin to people being infected with like an advanced form of rabies, which is very 28 days
I was
later.
going to say, yeah,
because
they don't die either, do they? They get infected with the rage disease
yeah
and just become
whatever they become.
enraged.
Yeah, but that's considered a zombie.
Is it though? Are they?
Well, see, okay, hear me out though. That gets okay. What is the next undeath? Reanimation is the number one defining feature, right?
Correct.
What would you say number two is?
The mindlessness.
Okay.
The zombies, the infected in this movie,
Yeah.
they still know kind of what they're doing, but not really. You know what I mean? Like,
And they can still connect with loved friends or loved ones that are also infected, a la the Duck Hunters or Rory's family.
correct.
I'm going to go simpler than that.
Okay.
Zombies eat people. What do zombies do?
That's true.
They eat people.
Yeah.
28 days later, they ate people. In the Crazies, they don't eat.
No.
They kill, then they move on. It's not like they kill to eat.
That is true.
There is no eating. So there is no reanimation. There is no undeath. And there is no the infected consuming the non-infected. These are not zombies.
No, they're not zombies.
At least 28 days later had half of the main. Are they reanimated?
Yes.
No. Although they are able to stave off, like, there is a level of necroses they begin to go through, and it gets a little muddled.
Yeah.
Although it's been a hot minute since I've watched 28 Days Later.
Plus, the zombies, too, like, the cool thing about a zombie movie is the creative ways that to kill a zombie. Like watching, like in The Walking Dead, like the car smashes over one's head and it, blows
sure.
up. But the only way to kill it is
The destruction of the brain.
the destruction of the brain. That's not the case with the Crazies.
No, because as long as you could kill a person,
Yeah.
you will kill them because that's all they are.
Exactly.
Everyone keeps calling this a zombie movie, and I feel like the only reason they keep calling it a zombie movie is because of Romero's name attached.
Absolutely.
Because Romero, his pedestal is built on the zombie genre, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But this blanket he has, this umbrella people are putting over him that all of his shit just falls under. These are not zombies.
No.
And so I feel like it's kind of a disservice to this movie to call it a zombie movie.
I agree.
These are not zombies.
I agree.
They don't follow anything you have to have to be a zombie. And if we do the monster breakdown episodes, we'll break down what a fucking zombie is in more detail.
Hell yes.
You think I won't spend my limited free time learning the vast
Researching.
amount of lores about zombies, vampires, werewolves, predators, xenomorphs? I don't care.
Hell yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely I will. But the Crazies don't have any of that. These are not zombies. This is not a zombie movie. It's a virus movie. But to just lump it into zombie genre, that's so lazy and inaccurate.
I agree.
So that rubs me the wrong way.
Me too.
All right. Final thoughts? Oh, you want me to go first?
Go ahead, sir.
Getting to this movie was work for me. I kept putting it off until I literally couldn't anymore. I'm not a Romero guy. Then I saw the cover, and I'm not a horror movie, so I'm not a Romero guy. I'm not a horror movie guy. I saw the cover, and I'm thinking some sort of, wrong turn, Hills Have Eyes, hillbilly shenanigans. I wasn't really in the inbred nonsense. I wasn't really in the mood for that. Then I'm researching it, making my notes. I'm like, oh, it's a Romero zombie movie. Fantastic. Oh boy. I'm so excited. Then I watched it and I went, holy crap. I was not prepared for or expecting anything that was delivered. And that's a good thing in this instance. I really enjoyed this movie. Several of the jump scares got me. I loved the tension. I enjoyed the story that it told and the way it's told it just as far as very carefully spoon feeding small answers to the big questions, but not answering everything. By the time this movie wraps up, we still don't know really 100% what the hell is going on. We have enough of an idea. It's like, okay, well, bioweapons and government involvement. Okay, sure, but there's still unanswered questions, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so it's spoon feeding us answers all the while the tension and the action is snowballing. And it pairs so well together. I'm a big fan of Timothy Olyphant. Everything he does. Underrated actor. He deserves more. If they wanted to do a Crazies 2, I'd watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I would. If we found out that he and Judy survived Cedar Rapids and that like ultimately Cedar Rapids was declared clean or something, given his age, there has to be a time jump
Oh yeah.
of some sort. But you know what I mean? You could make it work.
Yeah.
I think I'd watch it. I'm intrigued by this world and the way it's set up. Excuse me, this virus, however it works. I'd actually be interested in seeing more, which I can't say for most movies because usually they keep giving me more and I don't want it. Nobody wants 5 avatars, James Cameron.
Nobody wants one Fast and Furious Vin Diesel.
At least they cut the knees off Black Adam. So no, I have this in my notes, and I was saving it for final thoughts. This is what the Resident Evil movie should have been.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now, granted, you tweak the virus, obviously, tweak the air quote monsters, obviously, so it fits the Resident Evil story. But the way it plays out and how it plays out, tell me you couldn't see these events going down in Raccoon City.
Oh, absolutely.
Even the nuking of the town.
Yeah.
That's how 2 and 3 end. God, there's like what 5 Resident Evil movies. Those are all garbage.
Every single one of them is trash.
I can't even think of the director's name. That guy sucks.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Everything he touches is just straight poison.
Yeah.
That dude is Typhoid Mary of movies. As soon as you hear he's attached to a project, you just know it's bad. And you just avoid it like the plague. But no, honestly, this if you watch if you're a fan of the Resident Evil games, you watch the live action movies. Thanks, Anderson, you douche.
Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, fuck him. Guess who's not going to be on the podcast? That fucking idiot. Per me. But if you're just like, man, this is not what the Resident Evil movies were supposed to be, watch the Crazies. You will get a better, more satisfying, and more coherent Resident Evil movie from 2010, The Crazies, than anything the Resident Evil movies give you. I promise you that. Tension, all that, we covered all that. Is The Crazies worth the ticket price? Yes, it is. I no if, ands, or buts. I was on the fence about Don't Breathe. Said it was. Changed my mind. Said it was. No gray area. The Crazy slaps.
Nice.
I enjoyed. Is it the best? No, but that's all right. Not every movie has to be. This question isn't, is this the greatest horror movie ever made? The question is The Crazies worth your time and money? Absolutely. This was cool. I enjoyed every second of this.
Nice.
The streak is officially
The
broken.
shit streak has been broken.
Finally, finally some good food.
All right, 2010, The Crazies. This movie has good characters, has smart characters.
Eh,
Well, when I say smart characters, it's like they're not doing dumb shit just to move the plot along,
except for the separating.
like Under Paris, or
Oh, yeah.
they're just for whatever reason. Oh, let's just go ahead and stab this shark when we have thousands of sharks around us, just because we have a job. No, I love that this movie. It feels like it could have been more of a large scale movie, but it's toned down to just focusing on these four people. Three people actually.
Yeah. Becca doesn't count.
No, Becca doesn't count. But
Up yours, Becca.
yeah, it feels like it could have been the gigantic end of the world type virus that, is kind of like Walking Dead-esque,
Mhm.
but it's just focusing on this small group of characters. It has a good mixture of jump scares, tension, dread,
Mhm.
and I like how they don't focus on the crazies so much as like almost like Jaws. You kind of get a few moments, you just see them a little bit. You're not focused in on them all the time to where you're kind of tired of seeing them. Like in the car wash scene where you just get really quick, kind of blurred glimpses of them is very unsettling and horrifying.
Also, kudos to just whoever came up with the car wash sequence.
Absolutely.
I have never seen a car wash utilized in a horror movie, but the set piece in of itself has everything you want. You're isolated, trapped, you can't see, you can't hear.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a fantastic scene. Um, no, this movie is definitely worth the ticket price. I enjoyed this when I first watched it. I may have enjoyed it more this time. I kind of understand how people got zombie fatigue back in the day when this came out.
Oh my god, the of the Dead remakes, the Resident Evils, the what am I for the 28 Days Later, the
Shaun of the Dead, and I mean I love Shaun of the Dead,
yeah,
but
but that was a rare breath of fresh air
absolutely.
during the zombie era.
I love how serious this movie is. It like when we were talking about the kills, I think if the wife would have been killed by the combine, it would have almost come off as the typical zombie kill,
Mhm.
kind of cartoonish and
Over the top.
over the top.
Nothing's over the top.
Nothing is over the top here. It's all relatable, believable. Like I could have seen this happening in 2020.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely worth the ticket price. Check it out. The Crazies, Timothy Oliphant. Hell yeah,
Yeah, Mr. Oliphant, you ever want to talk to two nitwits for any reason whatsoever? We'll talk. We
absolutely.
don't even have to talk about movies. We talk
Nope.
about whatever you want. I don't care.
Open invite.
That's right. Absolutely. And definitely going on our underrated list.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm excited.
You're excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
It's time. Drum roll, please. For the hat.
It's gotta blow the dust off that some bitch.
Like when I open my wallet,
Moths come flying out. Yeah.
just the dust cloud and
Yeah.
moths. All right. I got the hat.
Okay.
So excited. We haven't used the hat in 2 months.
I know. I don't even know what's in there anymore.
All right. Looking around, looking at the hat.
Oh
looking at the
God, I didn't miss
hat,
this shit.
Looking at the hat. Praising Jesus. Looking in the hat. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. What?
Provides.
Oh no.
Oh my! I
Do we got? Don't tell me we have a Fast and Furious sequel.
I have not put any of those in the hat.
Okay, good. Well, Sarah's been here, so
That's true. Speaking of Sarah, I think the hat is angry we haven't used it in so long for it to produce this choice.
okay. I'm scared.
This is definitely, I think, a punishment
I'm scared
for
now.
leaving the hat on the shelf for so long.
God damn it.
Also, here's the thing. This may look exactly like my handwriting, but I assure you it's not.
Okay.
And that this is definitely a Sarah movie.
Right. Right.
Ignore the evidence and just focus on what I'm telling you, like modern mass media.
Okay.
All right? Ignore the facts, ignore the evidence, just trust my voice.
Just listen to the one man.
That's right. What I tell you is the truth. This is definitely a Sarah movie, so damn it, Sarah. Send all hate to Sarah. I almost want to just hand it to you and let you read it. You want to read it? You want me to?
I want you to tell me.
We will be reviewing Joseph Dirte.
What? What?
Joseph Dirte.
Joe Dirt? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god.
Yeah, baby. Tune in next week as we watch Joe Dirt.
Can we go? Let's go back. Fuck this hat thing. No, I hate the hat. I don't like the hat.
And the hat returns in glorious triumph. Oh my god.
No.
Damn
no.
it, Sarah. Quit putting
No.
movies in the hat and forging my handwriting.
I feel
That's a felony.
I feel like Peggy with David's knife sticking out of my throat. God
Just wait till you watch it.
damn it.
Oh, damn it, Sarah. By the way, did I mention this was Sarah's fault? She
I
definitely
don't believe you.
put Joe Dirt in the hat.
I don't believe you. Sarah, I don't believe him.
Just like you put the Fast and the Furious in the hat.
I didn't put Fast and Furious in the hat. That was Sarah.
I didn't put Fast and the Furious in the hat.
I didn't
Which
either.
means one of you two had to have done it. You both blame each other.
I want you to look at me and believe me. I'm the one telling you the truth.
Ignore the evidence. No, this looks like my handwriting, but I've seen Sarah's handwriting and it's real bad. So this could be anyone's handwriting.
Okay.
This Joe Dirt is a Sarah movie for sure. So
Can I quit the podcast right now?
at any time.
This will be my last episode.
All right. Anyone who knows how to edit podcasts and want to talk about movies, you hit me up.
Yeah, but you got to watch Joe Dirt first.
Your initiation is Joe Dirte.
Ugh.
Hey,
It might be a fine film.
you're talking about my boy all wrong. Do it again. I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
God.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I don't know what's worse. This movie or Kid Rock. Or that Kid Rock's in this movie. Ugh.
Yeah, but like, okay, a movie about white trash.
I mean,
What other movie would Kid Rock be in?
oh God, what was that biker movie that he was in?
He was in a biker movie?
Biker Boys with a Z?
No, I don't-
B-O-Y-Z?
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it was a Fast and the Furious ripoff, with bikes, motorcycles.
It's not the first time you've talked about
I
Biker
know.
Boys.
I know.
Do you have Biker? How many times have you watched Biker
I've
Boys?
never watched that movie.
But you keep talking about it.
It might be in the hat.
Methinks he doth protest too much
Mm.
about the Biker Boys.
The boys. Like the Hardy Boys.
Boys. It's extreme. Oh my God.
Mm.
All right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening at this time. Of course, we're going to ask you, if you like this show and you haven't already, hit that follow button. Make sure you click the bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our episodes, regular or bonus. Share it around. Let your friends know. Be like, guys, listen to these two idiots and their hot takes. Guess how wrong they are. Let us know if you got bingo in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on the ending in the comments, or anything else you just really feel the need to tell us. We love reading them. And as always, we do have a Patreon, $3 a month, if you feel so inclined to help a couple of doofuses out. Love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week as we talk about Joe Dirt. I'm Jake. That's Tevis. We are Ticket Price. And this was 2010's The Crazies, unanimously decided worth the ticket price. Check it out before October wraps up. Love you guys so much. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And good night.